Joining me now is Senator Robert Menendez, a Democrat from New Jersey. He serves on the Banking and Finance Committees, and today he held a news conference challenging Republicans to end ethanol and oil subsidies. Senator Menendez, great to have you here.
Good to be with you.
All right. Well, let me ask you. The president was asked whether he's going to draw a red line, and he never fully answered that question. Should he have said, yes, absolutely, here are the oil subsidies, ethanol subsidies, et cetera. Here are the tax issues that I will not bend on?
Well, I certainly would have hoped he would have said it. I certainly would have hoped that he would have said, we're asking middle-class families and working families in this country to be part of the sacrifice to get the country's economic footing back on track. Well, we should ask big oil. We should ask those ethanol subsidies. We should ask other tax breaks and loopholes to be ended because we can't afford them anymore, and certainly American taxpayers shouldn't afford them anymore. And I would have hoped he would have said that because I think he would have had the American people behind him.
Senator Menendez, combination of Politico and Washington Post reporting says that in the beginning, President Obama started the negotiations asking for about $760 billion in revenue increases, and that we are now down to asking for about $200 to $300 billion. And apparently we've gotten no concessions whatsoever from the Republicans so far. Is this the problem that we always face in these negotiations, that the Republicans do not bend and the Democrats and the White House just keeps going lower and lower and lower with their request?
Well, you know, in a negotiation process, unless the other side knows that you are, have a bottom line that you are unwilling to go past, unless they have a clear demarcation, unless you make them equally responsible at the end of the day for the consequences of inaction, then it's a question of how far they'll take you over the barrel. And the reality is that, I'm certainly concerned that while I understand that the president doesn't want to play poker with the nation's credit situation, by the same token, unless he makes it very clear to Republicans that they will be responsible for acting irresponsibly, and that the consequences of that is that they will bear the burden of what it can mean to this country in terms of its economy, what it will mean to people's 401ks, what it will mean to their retirement funds when the market takes a dive, what it will mean to companies who, instead of hiring, will contract and hold back their investments, what it will mean to this economy, that until he does that and makes it very clear to the American people why they have a stake in this and who's putting them at risk, which is the Republicans, then I think it's a risky negotiation process.
Right. Unfortunately, all these negotiations are to some degree poker, right? And you've got to say, hey, if you keep folding, well, they know what you're going to do next. And, he began to do that today. To be fair, he mentioned a bunch of things that we could not pay for. 44% of our bills can't be paid. Social Security would be affected. Medicare, Medicaid, military pay, veterans benefits, unemployment checks, IRS refunds. But should he have said, look, and been saying a long time ago, this is what's going to happen if the Republicans get their way? Not, hey, if we can't resolve it together, this is what's going to happen, but hey, the Republicans are the ones responsible for all this because they're being obstinate.
Well, I certainly think that he should, because number one is Republicans are in joint governing here. They control the House of Representatives. They have a responsibility, and they are taking an ideological hard line that has nothing to do with reality and nothing to do what is necessary to make sure the country doesn't default on its obligations, that people don't lose dramatic parts of their retirement income, that we don't lose more jobs at a time that we're trying to create jobs. He needs to put that on their doorstep. And the reality is he'd be just talking the truth, because at this point, that's exactly what they're doing. And so I just hope that we don't have a negotiation where he just drives, they just know that he wants this desperately because he wants the country to succeed, and they're willing to do just about anything for their political purposes. That's a bad chemistry in terms of negotiation.
Well, that's interesting. All right, New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.